When you think of Vietnam, what comes to mind? Pho, banh mi, coffee, or just an affordable travel destination? But here's the reality many people don't see. The average monthly income here is only around $300 to $350. Yet every single day, thousands of people still manage to open food stalls, sell vegetables, brew coffee, and support their entire families. How much money did they actually start with? And could I do the same? And headed back to Dalat to meet people who created their own jobs. What do they sell? How much do they earn? And is it enough to make a living? Let's find out together. The sky is beautiful today. Dalat's weather is cool and refreshing. My first stop today is a local Ben Can restaurant. Besides having breakfast, I also want to see how people with limited capital start small businesses in Vietnam. The eatery is quite simple, about 3.5 meters long, with a sign and a few plastic tables and chairs, but it's quite crowded. Wow, everything is expensive in a tourist city, but a meal here costs around $1 to $2.50. For me, that's a bit high, but compared to the city, it's a low average price. I ordered a portion of traditional bun can, rice flour pancake, with egg yolk filling, for $1. And the food here is made after you order, right in front of you, ensuring it's piping hot. The place where I sat to eat was also his family's house, utilizing the living room and yard for business, so there were no rent costs. A clay oven for baking, a few plastic tables and chairs, some fresh ingredients daily, and most importantly, knowing how to mix the batter, make the pancakes, and prepare a delicious dipping sauce. In my opinion, this is a fairly suitable business model if you have little capital and already have family-owned space, with an investment of around $300 to $400. Bánh can is a long-standing dish in Vietnam, with each region having its own unique dipping sauce. My $1 meal today consists of 8 bánh can with runny egg yolks, a bowl of dipping sauce, and 2 meatballs.
When you bite into it, the yolk melts and becomes rich. The fish sauce has a perfect balance of salty and sweet flavors. The shredded green mango adds a refreshing sourness. Together, they make every bite even more flavorful.
The bread is freshly baked and still hot. The outer crust is slightly crispy, but the inside is soft and chewy. This is also a famous breakfast dish in Dalat, so be sure to try it when you visit. And remember, it only costs $1 to $3. One thing I love most is how friendly the owner is. As soon as he saw my camera, he smiled warmly. He even held up one of the cakes for the camera. He asked if I was a TikToker or YouTuber who reviews food. Then he laughed and said, "If it's good, make sure to say nice things so I can get more customers. And if you don't like it, just give me a little feedback." That's the kind of warmth you often find in small, family-run restaurants in Vietnam. I'm full now. Now, let me take you for a walk around some of Dalat's main streets. Why are so many storefronts in the city center occupied by businesses?
Sell takeaway coffee? Sometimes a small cart or a compact stand is enough to start a business. Some sticky rice stalls are only about 2 meters wide. Just look around. Both sides of the street are lined with businesses. In just about 50 meters, there are 3 to 4 cafes, a faux restaurant, 2 pubs, a convenience store, etc. These shops are separated by only a wall, and most of them rent for around $600, $700 per month. This type of business is not suitable for low-income earners or those with limited capital, because in addition to rent, you have to bear the costs of decoration, tables and chairs, cooking utensils, dishes, staff, raw materials, etc. There are many expenses, and initially, when no one knows about it and the number of customers is small, you may incur losses. I stopped at a gas station and added about $2 worth of fuel. That was enough to get me around for the rest of the day. One thing that many international visitors might find interesting is that in Vietnam, gas stations are almost always full service. You don't pump your own fuel. Instead, an attendant does everything for you. All you need to do is tell them how much fuel you want or how much you'd like to spend. Most gas stations are also designed with separate areas for different vehicles. Cars usually refuel at the pumps along the outside, while motorbikes use the pumps inside. It helps reduce traffic congestion and prevents cars and motorbikes from getting in each other's way. Before filling the tank, the attendant always lets you check the display to make sure every number has been reset to 0. As the fuel goes into the tank, both the amount of fuel and the total price increase on the screen in real time. It's a simple system, but it gives customers confidence that everything is transparent. Recently, most gas stations in Vietnam have switched to E10 gasoline. I've heard some people say it may not be the best option for older motorbikes, although I'm not sure how accurate that is. Since it's now the standard fuel available, most people simply use it as part of everyday life. Now I'm heading to Dalat's 2 most famous markets, the Old Market and the New Market. I want to see how people with very little starting capital build their businesses, and whether these small businesses are enough to make a living. First, I need to park my scooter. Parking costs only about 20 US cents. Once you receive a ticket, the staff will look after your scooter while you're exploring the market. If something happens while the vehicle is in their care, the parking service is responsible, according to the applicable rules. I think it's both convenient and reassuring. Locals also know this place by a very unusual nickname, the Ghost Market. This market dates back to around the 1970s. Even after decades of development, it still preserves much of Old Dalat's simple charm. Every stall tells a different story. One vegetable seller is quietly taking a nap while waiting for customers. It's a very ordinary scene in many traditional Vietnamese markets. Just look at how they arrange their vegetables. Everything is neatly displayed with vibrant colors.
Behind these small vegetable stalls is a job that begins long before sunrise. Every morning, they bring in fresh vegetables from local farms or wholesale markets. Compared with many other businesses, this can be started with relatively modest capital, but it requires fresh stock every single day. What I admire most is their dedication. Some have been selling vegetables for more than 20 years. Others have spent nearly half a century in this market. Their workday often begins around 4 a.m., and it may not end until 6 or 7 p.m. That's well over 14, 15 hours of work almost every day of the year. This strawberry stall immediately caught my attention. The strawberries are arranged so neatly and beautifully. They look incredibly fresh. She smiled and said, "Just give it a try. If you like it, you can buy some. If not, that's perfectly okay." I really love how relaxed and welcoming that felt. The strawberry was sweet, juicy, and fragrant, but right after that, I accidentally coughed because the salt was a little stronger than I expected. The vendor immediately asked if I was okay and even apologized. Little moments like this make the experience feel so genuine.
Dâu em ơi, dâu thủy canh, dâu Đà Lạt ngon này.
Now I'm going to spend about $1 on one of Delot's most famous desserts, and at the same time, see how a small family business like this has stayed successful for so many. This is Fung Avocado Ice Cream. It's one of the oldest and most well-known avocado ice cream shops in Delot Market since 1986. The menu mainly consists of snacks and desserts, priced around $1 to $1.50. There are many delicious options, but today I'm only allowing myself to choose one. So I'll opt for the shop's signature item, a cup of avocado ice cream. That's really good. The avocado is rich and creamy without feeling heavy. The ice cream is sweet and refreshingly cold. The coconut cream ties all the flavors together perfectly. Now I understand why so many visitors make this dessert a must-try. Sometimes building a lasting business isn't about selling everything. It's about doing one thing really well, treating your customers with kindness, and staying consistent for many years. From above, all I could see were hundreds of vegetable stalls that looked the same. But once I walked among them, I realized each stall represents a family, a story, and a livelihood built over decades. And that's how people with little capital do business. mostly selling vegetables, fruits, and homemade food in small stalls in the market. And now I'm going up to the third floor of the new Dowlett Market to see what kind of business people with little capital can start. This is a small kiosk area inside Dowlett New Market. Each kiosk is only about 2.5 to 3 square meters. Rent can range from about $100 to $200 per month, or more, depending on the location and size. If you want to do business here, you have to choose a specific product. The stalls here are quite different from the old market model. One sells bubble tea, another sells coffee. Another offers handmade pottery. One specializes in Vietnamese mixed rice paper. Others sell fresh spring rolls and local snacks. Since each kiosk has its own specialty, they don't compete directly with one another as much. Someone buying bubble tea might also grab a snack from the neighboring stall. It creates a lively atmosphere where different businesses can benefit from each other. A market specializing in selling secondhand clothes, I was genuinely surprised by how many items were still in excellent condition. Some of the clothes looked almost brand new, and it would be hard to tell they had been worn before. Today, I have a very special cameraman, a security guard who works at this market. What surprised me was how excited he was about my YouTube videos. He even showed me around the market. He kindly asked a clothing shop owner if I could film inside. Small acts of kindness like that make me feel incredibly welcome. He also shared something interesting about the clothing section. If you buy in very large quantities, each shirt can cost only 10 to 20 US cents per item. Of course, those prices are usually available only for thousands of pieces at once. This area isn't just about clothing. You can also find backpacks, handbags, shoes, and many secondhand items. In Vietnam, secondhand shopping has become increasingly popular. This is a counter selling designer backpacks and handbags imported from abroad. Their real price could be several $1000s, but here they're only from $30 to $300. At that price, even for secondhand items, it's a luxury for me. I asked him if selling clothes resulted in a loss. He smiled and explained that if they don't sell right away, they can keep the stock or clear it later. But clothing businesses usually need much more storage and display space. Some inventory can even be moved elsewhere and sold later. But business isn't as easy as it used to be. In recent years, more people have been shopping online. With just a few minutes on a phone, people can browse hundreds of products. The items are delivered straight to their homes. So when I visited, some parts of the market were quieter than I expected. Still, I truly hope traditional markets like this will continue to thrive, because these markets are more than places to shop. They preserve stories, relationships, and a beautiful part of Vietnamese culture. Let's say goodbye to the security guard at the clothing market, and I'll continue walking past another stall.
Dạ.
This is dried mango with salt and chili, a snack my mother really likes. I'll buy some and have them shipped directly to her. There's a whole plate of food samples at this stall for you to try. That's so convenient, isn't it? I just pay and leave my mother's address, and in about 2 days, she'll receive this gift without me having to pay for shipping. Hi, I'm new. I chose a prime spot to get the best view of everything, but it cost me $1.50 for a cup of bubble tea. Honestly, I regret spending the money a little bit. Oh, this flavor. It's been almost 9 months since I last drank bubble tea. I've been limiting my outings to save money, but thanks to YouTube videos and my followers, I've been able to confidently eat more of the foods I like. I'm so grateful to you all. The vegetable stall of the elderly couple. A little girl helping her mother sell vegetables. A sugarcane juice seller whose entire business fits into about 2 square meters. Just a juicer, a few small stools, and a trash bin. Unusual ways of transporting goods at Vietnamese markets. Another woman selling fish from just 2 basins. Delivery riders constantly weaving through the streets. The woman sells vegetables, and her motorbike is essentially a stall. I wonder how many rejections they receive each day when they cheerfully invite customers to buy their produce, and how they manage to attract customers when competing with dozens of other vegetable stalls. Everyone has a different job, but they all share one thing in common. They're working hard to earn an honest living. Whether they have low incomes or limited capital, they still have to strive and persevere, with their entire families behind them. Tonight, I'll be staying in Dalat. I'll share with you what Dalat is like at night in the next video. Thank you for always following me. Let me know what you'd like to see in Vietnam. I'll be waiting for your comments. Please help me like the video if you enjoyed it. I love you.